everyone, and welcome to Shell Point Today for Monday, February 29th. It's Sleep Day, and I'm Mary Kay Grimaldi.
And I'm Rich Nation. Thanks for joining us today. On today's show, we will recap the art show and sale held earlier this month, and Rita Southern, Director of Assisted Living, will discuss weather-related safety concerns with Dr. Carol Clark and Jannine Hammond.
But first, we want to remind you that Shell Point President Peter Dice will be presenting the history of Shell Point at an Academy of Lifelong Learning event at the Village Church. This will be an informative presentation complete with a pictorial history of Shell Point that encompasses the many changes and growth throughout its 48 years. Everyone is welcome to attend this Wednesday, March 2nd at 10:15 a.m. At this year's gala event, details were presented on the exciting expansion at the location of the Springs with a new neighborhood called Waters Watch. You'll be able to hear more about it firsthand at a special launch event this Thursday, March 3rd, entitled Dive into the Details. You'll learn all about the expansion of the Springs Assisted Living Facility, including 27 new apartments, a new memory support residence, and recreation wing, and more. There will also be special music and a generous array of delicious refreshments at the event. Door-to-door transportation will be provided for each court, and you can check out the schedule in the March issue of Shell Point Life magazine. For more information, give Mackenzie Millis a call at 600-6424.
Recently, in February, the annual art show and sale was held at the Village Church. Shell Point artisans, craftsmen, and craftswomen showcased their wonderful creations at this two-day event, complete with food available right outside the door, and some relaxing music courtesy of the Shell Point String Ensemble.
Well, it's a day for the art show here at the Village Church, and we have the Shell Point String Ensemble providing beautiful background music for the enjoyment of all the art patrons and the artists. So here's the art show. All right, Cecil, I see a lot of kinds of wood in these bowls that you have here. How many species of wood do you have in there, do you know?
I really don't know, 10 or 12 I imagine.
And where do you get all that wood?
Well, a lot of it I get from other people who have other projects. They know I just use little pieces, so when
so
they
you
have
get
some
their leftovers.
left over, they give it to me.
So waste not, want not.
Right. Usually the bottom is big enough where I have to buy the board for that.
Okay, all right. Well, they sure are beautiful.
Thank you.
Very nice. So, you know, you could use these leftovers to maybe keep your leftovers. Who knows?
Well, yeah.
So we have Renee Chastant here with some beautiful watercolors. Tell us a little bit about your work, Renee.
Well, I started painting around 2007 or 8 when I quit working full-time, and it was kind of a therapy for me. And I love nature, I love being outside, I love wildlife, but I love the birds, so I take their pictures and paint them and paint the flowers that I see all around.
Well, that's terrific. It's hard to believe you've been painting for such a short amount of time. Your work is beautiful.
Thank you. I guess I'm lucky.
Cynthia Eames has some beautiful, very colorful scarf art here. Cynthia, tell us about how you get these beautiful patterns and colors.
These are all hand-painted, washable silk. They start out as a plain white scarf. And
Looks like a
this is
pilot scarf.
It does look like a pilot scarf. This is how they start out, and I create a little studio in my home, which gets messy, and I hand paint each one. There's no two that are exactly alike.
Now, it looks like you have various techniques. Do you do some spinning, or how do you get these patterns?
I use paint. It has to do with the folding, the the different processes that I use.
It does
Have
look
fun
like it would
doing
be a lot of fun to do, getting all those interesting textures and patterns. So.
It is fun. It's fun and it's messy.
All right, well, keep having fun and making a mess.
Thank you.
Well, Roger here has a whole menagerie of sea creatures. So, Roger, tell us how you make these interesting shapes of animals.
Well, they're produced with a laminating process. If I could just turn around a moment. It starts out looking like this, and I cut out the shape, and I sand the 2D part of it, and you get a ring randomly. Every place there was a layer.
Very nice. It makes
Got two alike.
makes an interesting pattern.
Yes, it does. It does. Even the little perfections come up and make them more interesting than
Well, it looks like a lot of fun.
it certainly is.
So, Dottie, when did you get involved with photography?
I started when my dad gave me a Brownie camera when I was a little kid, but it wasn't until I really came here at Shell Point and started entering the contest and then started joining the photo club and learning from all the mentors here at Shell Point that I really kind of came into my own, I guess, as a photographer.
Very good. And you've got some beautiful work here. It looks like nature really inspires you. I see most of your images are natural beauty. And
Definitely, as a birder, someone who goes out and looks for birds, I'm out in nature a lot and always have my camera. And so, yeah, that's what what inspires me probably the most, although I'm trying to experiment in some other areas.
beautiful. Well, some great work. So, have a great show.
Thank you.
Judy Owen has an interesting art project here. It says it's an extra pocket. Tell us about it,
That's
Judy.
exactly what it is. It's a little pocketbook. They're made out of denim, front and back, and they're hand painted in acrylic. And 4 different artists from the art studio are doing them.
Very nice.
So anyway, I hope everybody will come down and take a look.
Looks like a fun thing. There's a pattern for everybody. It looks like.
There is. We specialize in animal portraits as well. Your dog, your cat, your horse,
Aha.
on canvas or on purse.
Very nice. So Tom here is showing some beautiful woodwork. Tom, tell us about your inspiration for some of these pieces. They're really unusual.
Well, my purpose usually is to showcase the beauty of the wood,
Yes.
because it's, you just can't find anything prettier than the grain of
Yes,
something
it's
like that.
Very nice.
And while the art is not so great, the wood is. So that's what I try to do. And I just use it in different ways, try to make some things functional, some things just
Just
to
nice
look at.
at.
Well, maybe nice, we don't
Tell
know.
us about this table with the glass here.
Well, these things over here now belong to Dick Gallagher.
That's Dick's work. Okay.
But this is a little table he made. We don't know what this wood is. We got it at Echo. It's a very heavy, dense wood.
Huh.
But it's a little
lovely.
table he made. This is plexiglass.
Okay. What would an art show be at Shell Point without Lou Salmon's birds? You know, you're pretty kind of a bird legend at this. So, Lou, have you kept track of how many of these birds you've carved?
Well, when I took lessons, my coach or teacher said, sign every piece and serialize it.
Very good,
And had I not done that, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't know the answer to my question.
I had done over 1,400 now.
1,400. That's flocks of birds.
That's a bunch.
That's a bunch
That's
of birds.
a flock, all right.
Well, it looks like you figured out how to do it because they really do look great. Very realistic and lovely.
Well, thank you kindly. Some of the birds are finding a home also.
Excellent. They're finding a perch. You have some lovely work here in various media. Your watercolors are I'm really impressed with this one because I wonder why I like this one. Most people around here know I like airplanes. Tell me about, did you find was that a plane you saw sitting somewhere?
There was a guy on North Captiva Island
Yeah.
who flew that in.
Into the North Captiva Strip. What do you
Into the
know?
North Captiva Strip.
How about that?
I took a bunch of photographs of it. The studio, the art studio here, was
Yes.
doing a thing about patriotic theme or something.
Okay.
That's why it's got this national insignia in there. It's very faint, but it's there. I was a product designer,
Okay.
and the watercolor was kind of fun on the
Your
side.
hobby on the side. Very nice.
And now that I'm here at Shell Point, I'm not doing product design
Right, right.
anymore.
That's an awful lot like work, right?
Yes, yes.
This is an awful lot like fun.
I do graphic design for this stuff.
Very good. Now, here's a artistic legend of Shell Point, Mr. Herb Sklar.
Some legend.
He's a master of many media, and if it's visual, you're kind of into it.
Yes, you can
Okay,
say
great.
that. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we got some new paintings I haven't seen of your work. I was impressed that you would have the guts to take on a sunset.
Okay.
I mean, even nothing besides the human eyeball can really
No,
do justice to a sunset.
And you're right about that. You come as close as you can.
The collage.
Yeah.
And you said you made it out of what?
Well, one year I got a lot of catalogs, LL Beam and all those type
Right.
of catalogs, and it just annoyed me so I wanted to recycle it. So I cut little pieces up and pasted it together and made an eagle.
That's amazing. So all the colors here, folks. All
Truly
the,
been
All the
recycled.
details, totally from catalogs.
Right.
That's crazy.
I know.
Lot
My
of-
revenge.
That's a lot.
Save a tree.
Well, guess who I ran into here at the art show? This is my wife, Esther, and my mom, Vonnie Wells King. And they have been hanging out here with Augusta Crane, and it looks like we have some new things from you, Augusta. What's going on here?
It's a new pendant and the necklace, and she's wearing it to her birthday, so birthday gift from Dan and his wife.
Very fun. What do you think, Mom?
Beautiful. And what a selection of everything. I just can't make up my mind. I have to have a trailer.
All right, all the way back to New Jersey. She's going to have to rent a U-Haul to haul stuff home from. So did you find something you liked?
I did. This is a unique piece for me that I have not seen before by Augusta. So I think it's stunning. I love it.
This year, we've had some really unique weather. Tornado warnings, heavy storms, winds, and power outages here at Shell Point have brought questions and concerns from residents. Rita Southern, Director of Assisted Living, discusses these concerns with Outpatient Services Director Dr. Carol Clark and Resident Support Services Manager Jannine Hammond.
Hi, I'm Rita Southern. I'm the Director of Assisted Living and Resident Support Services here at Shell Point. I've asked some folks to join me today to talk a little bit about an interesting topic. Dr. Carol Clark, our Director of Outpatient Services here at Shell Point, and Jannine, who is our Manager of Resident Support Services, is joining us as well. We wanted to talk today about issues that are challenging during weather-related occurrences, because we've had some really interesting times during this winter, and our winter has been really unique. We've had rain, we've had wind, and we've had some power outages as a result of some of those storms. And our residents have experienced what it's like to go through a tornado, warnings and the power outages, and some of the questions that have come to us. I know they've come through the medical center. I know they've hit some of the case managers, and we thought we'd bring some answers to our Shell Point residents as a result of some of the discussion that we've had. I know, Jannine, one of those questions is, how can residents plan for an unexpected power outage? Do you have some advice for our Shell Point residents?
I think that it's just most important for our residents to plan in advance. Expect the unexpected and be ready with those flashlights on hand, with extra batteries on hand, whatever it is that you're going to need in the case of an extended power outage or a tornado warning. Be prepared.
We did come up with some plans in terms of those folks that need oxygen.
If someone is dependent on some kind of a respiratory device, something electric that they need on a daily basis, We've made arrangements that they can go to the assisted living building nearest them, whether that's the Arbor or King's Crown, because we do have the ability to accommodate folks in those locations for an extended period of time so that they can plug in their oxygen concentrator, their CPAP, whatever it might be. If they have medication that needs to be refrigerated, they can feel free to, come to the Arbor, come to King's Crown. We'll be expecting them, and we will have a comfortable place for them.
And our one call does it all. Call the 2190 call center if our residents are concerned about any of those issues.
Absolutely. Call the call center. They'll be happy to get you set up. If you need transportation to get there, we can get folks out to help pick you up. We understand that it might be an issue for some folks to get some of that equipment over with them.
Wonderful. We had some folks that were concerned when the power went out about refrigerated medications. Do you have some advice about that to give our residents?
Yes, especially with insulin, which is probably the primary concern. Insulin can be opened and out of the refrigerator for 30 days. So in a power outage, it's unlikely that that would extend beyond that period of time. And an unopened insulin container can be out in the room air much longer than that. There are some medications now that are distributed in, for lack of a better word, a type of gel or paste, and some of those have a shelf life that's extended by being refrigerated. So I still believe that anything that's just a few hours is not going to hurt that.
Okay. Some of our discussions that we've had, our residents dealt with really impactful winds. What would be some of your recommendations for our residents as they start to think about moving around our community in those situations that they're going to find themselves in?
I think it's really important to turn on the news and have a feeling for what the wind velocity is, because we have a number of residents who really barely weigh in at 100 pounds, and if the wind is blowing at 30 or 40 miles an hour, that can be really challenging. And we actually did have some people who were injured, and the areas that seem to be most at risk are the ones that are right on the water, and then in the taller buildings where there's an atrium that creates a wind tunnel. Just to be aware that it takes a lot of strength to overcome that kind of velocity, and especially in a wind that could be side blowing, that takes a lot of power to overcome that. It's a good opportunity to use the services that we have. If you just pull your cord, you can have a nurse come, you can have food delivered. A lot of things can happen at Shell Point by just staying in.
Rita, they can call 2190 in an instance like that. If your anxiety is extremely high because of the weather and you really are feeling like you cannot be alone at that point in time, by all means, you can call the call center. They'll get you hooked up to go over to the assisted living building so that you can be with other people and have that level of comfort knowing that the nursing staff, the resident care assistants are there, and you can mingle with the other residents.
Absolutely. I'm happy that we can bring these types of reassuring questions and answers to our residents here at Shell Point. Hopefully we won't have reoccurrences of this unusual type of winter weather, and we will all pray for a calm, quiet hurricane season. Not that we're looking forward to hurricane season, but we'll all pray for quiet, calmer weather in the future. But should we have one of these kinds of instances, feel free to give us a call through the call center, and we'll be happy to help and support you in any which way we can.
And now it's time to take a look at today's happenings, Academy News, menus, and Village Church connections, right after this Listening to the Words preview from David Howenstein.
This week's Listening to the Words is a special program focusing on blindness as a way to inspire. Although you are encouraged to invite any legally blind person to listen in, the program serves as an example of how anybody's tragedy can be transformed into opportunity. One of the two stories in the program was written by a child who served and learned from her blind parents. Most of the program is filled with the dramatic story of a young man whose normal sight was wiped out in an accident, allowing him to discover a new and wonderful way of seeing. One reviewer said of the blinded man's memoir, "I think I have just read one of the great books of the 20th century. No, of several centuries." David Howenstein here, reminding you that this 30-minute program airs all 7 days this week, beginning at the top and then the bottom of each hour. This reminder is especially important this week because the story that fills the first 27 minutes of the program really must be listened to from the beginning to the end. ShellPoint Channel 12 is the place to hear it. Tell those who do not receive ShellPoint Channel 12 that they can listen to this program, number 222, anytime online at www.shellpoint.net/listening. As always, thank you for listening to the words.
Hello and welcome to the Happening segment of ShellPoint TV. I'm Bev Chandley.
And I'm Caitlin Vanscoy.
And we're going to go over a list of activities that we have here today at ShellPoint. We're going to start with an 8 o'clock men's match play tennis game down at the Woodlands tennis courts. And at 8:45, virtual bowling begins at the Resident Activity Center. We have billiards in the Resident Activity Center at 9:15. And at 9:15, the Lollygaggers paddlers will be meeting at the kayak storage facility for their weekly outing. Pottery will be available with instruction at 9:15 down in the pottery studio. At 10 o'clock, we have the men's match play tennis at the courts. Our Suzy Q boat goes to Matanzas on the Bay at 10 o'clock. You do need to be signed up in advance. And we have a Frederick Moyer concert in the Grand Cypress Room at the Woodlands at 10:30. Also at 10:30, we have the Disciple Men's Bible Study Group in the game room of the Woodlands. And there will be a table tennis playing clinic in the Tarpon Room at 10:45. Moving on to a Health Connections class, we have an 11:30 Agility and Flexibility class in the Health Club. That's currently full. And that is our last activity for the morning. Here's Caitlin for the afternoon activities.
Thank you, Bev. We start at 12 o'clock with Mahjong in the Sable Room of the Woodlands and move to 1:15 for Samba, the card game. That'll be played in the Resident Activity Center. Tone Chimes will be gathering in the Osprey Room at 1:15. And from 1:30 to 3:30, the Model Train Room will be open for complimentary tours and viewing. At 1:45, we have a Health Connections class, Balance and Mobility for Beginners in the Health Club. And the BDIB Club will be in the Oak Room of the Woodlands at 2 o'clock. At 2:15, the ShellPoint Singers sectional rehearsals will happen. The sopranos and altos will meet in the choir room of the Village Church, and the tenors and basses will meet in the hospitality room of the Village Church. At 3 o'clock, Pilates Stretch will occur in the Health Club. And the ShellPoint Singers rehearsal will occur at 3:15 in the choir room of the Village Church. We have a dinner outing to P.F. Chang's China Bistro. Pickups begin on the island at 4:15, 4:25 Woodlands, and 4:35 Eagles Preserve and Estuary. You do need to sign up for that dinner outing. At 5 o'clock, singles table at the Crystal will be available. And 6:30 is the time for beginners square dancing in the Health Club. Also at 6:30, Duplicate Bridge will be in the Woodlands game room. At 6:45, we have movie night. That's Roman Holiday, a 1953 film in the Social Center on the island. 7:30 is the time for square dancing and the Health Club, and that one is currently closed, and that's it for our day. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.
Hello, I'm Terry Kolath with your Academy information from Monday, February 29th. At 10:15, iPad, Talking is the New Typing, continues in the Manatee Room on the island. At 10:30, Anatomy of Words continues in the Oak Room of the Woodlands, and all are welcome. At 1:15, Basic iPad Technology will be in the Teaching Center on the island. Tomorrow we have a new class coming, Coffee with a Neighbor number 3. This is Antique Appraising with Judy Owen of Sand Dollar.
Menus for Monday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is braised beef with scalloped potatoes and mixed grilled vegetables. The dinner special is Old Home Cooking Night for $13.95, and the soup of the day is vegetarian chili. In the Island Cafe for lunch, the special is a meatloaf sandwich with fresh fruit for $7.75, And the dinner special is charred pork loin with coconut and almond rice for $8.75. And the Palm Grill is closed on Mondays. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Hi, Randy Woods, and here it is, the 1st of March, and we are looking forward to spring break because that means that the college students are coming our way. Obviously, that has some challenges to do with traffic and waiting in line at the restaurant, but on the positive side, that means that the young people are coming to Shell Point. And right away here early in March, on the 9th, Wednesday, March 9th, we will welcome the students with all the energy and zeal of youth, the students of the Indiana Wesleyan University Chorale. This 70-plus voice choral ensemble is going to be a wonderful presentation that you will not want to miss. The choir comes as part of our Season of Praise concert series, and tickets are available here at the church, the night of the concert, or any time prior to the concert. So I hope that you'll get your tickets. Dr. Todd Guy continues to direct this choir, and it's an outstanding university choir with the 70 voices of students from music majors as well as non-music majors, but they have a very rigorous audition process to get in this choir. So it's quite the select group of singers. As they have sung in previous years, they've had the privilege to perform throughout Europe and the United States, and it will be a special treat for us to have them back here at Shell Point as part of our Season of Praise concert. So the concert will be on Wednesday evening, March 9th at 7:15. I trust you'll get your tickets. They're just $10 and to be available here at the church during the regular business hours or prior to the concert that night. But join with us as the students come for spring break. Let's encourage them. Let's celebrate as you'll hear a variety of selections from the traditional classical sacred repertoire to arrangements of hymns, gospel spirituals, and contemporary songs. They are an exceptional group of students with an amazing sound, a wonderful presentation of fine choral music. That's the Indiana Wesleyan University Chorale. Join us as they come on Wednesday, March 9th, here at the Village Church at 7:15 p.m. I look forward to seeing you there.
Well, thanks for joining us for today's program. On tomorrow's show, we'll learn about a Walk for Bladder Cancer event that you can participate in. FindMark Bank will give us a minute about online banking passwords, and Cindy Boltman will speak with Heather Batty about driving safer longer. Until then, this has been Shell Point Today for Monday, February 29th. I'm Mary Kay Grimaldi.
And I'm Rich Nation, thanking you for spending your time with us on today's show, and we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.